Trey Young is a brilliant basketball player who already has an insane resume before turning age 30. He's third all-time in assists per game. He's already second in most seasons, averaging 25 points and 10 assists. He's helped the Hawks make the conference finals as the 5th seed and gave the Hawks more relevancy while dealing with a ton of roster turnover throughout his NBA career. I mean, entering this season, Onyeka Okongwu and Trae Young were the only two players from that conference finals squad on the 2026 Hawks the team has with the NBA draft, and the most talented team Trae had in his Hawks tenure was the current team that he just had in Atlanta. However, it just didn't work. He's now in Washington, and people have many polarizing takes on one of the league's best guards. So, what's the deal with Trae Young? Why are so many people over him when he's such a proven talent? Why would a rebuilding team in the Washington Wizards trade for him, and what impact can he have in DC? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video, but before we do that, be sure to leave a like on the video, greatly supports the channel, and sub to the channel for more content like this. First, let's start with what Trae Young does well on the floor, and why he's one of the best offensive engines in the entire sport. Trae Young is such a difficult player to tame because of his offensive package and imagination on the floor. He might be undersized, but he has a great handle and good change of direction to get by defenders or create great separation to pull up from deep. He plays so freely on the floor that he's nutmegging players in the middle of games and doing things that you just can't teach at real game speed. He's freezing players with fake behind the backs passes like he's Rajon Rondo to create easy looks at the rim for himself. He's throwing high arching floaters, he's splitting double teams, and even wrapping the ball behind his back in transition and finishing at the rim. Obviously, his playmaking is his best attribute, with him being able to make every pass in the book. That's extremely impressive given that he's a very generous 6'1", if that. Just like in the NFL, it helps to be a taller quarterback or point guard as that lead playmaker because you can see over defenses. But Trae is still an elite playmaker due to his vision and shot creation ability. He's routinely one of the top of the league or near the top of the league in frequency as a pick and roll ball handler, and is routinely one of the top scorers at pick and roll. He's an absolute maestro as the ball handler, and he's gotten the best out of rollers like Clint Capella, John Collins, and even more recently, Jalen Johnson, being one of the best lob passers in the game of basketball, and even having a signature floater that can be indistinguishable from a lob pass. This keeps defenses guessing, and his outside shooting keeps defenses on their toes too. Trae has extremely deep range, and the confidence that he has to pull up from everywhere is incredible. Either off the dribble, off of the high pick and roll, or even as a trailer in transition, these are shots that he will take from 30 feet to 35 feet to even the logo and demoralize the opposing team. So, if you're a player who can generate 20 plus points off of assist alone, and even drop 30 to 40 points by yourself, why would a franchise ever give up on you? Well, Trae isn't a perfect player, and his biggest issue is obviously his defense. Trae is definitely not as bad of a defender as people depict him to be, as some people call him the worst defender in the entire sport. Those people just watch highlights or just watch his first couple seasons in the league and call it a day, when the truth is that his effort on that end has definitely improved in recent years. However, due to his physical profile being a generous 6'1" and 164 pounds, there's only so much he can do to not get bullied or taken advantage of on the floor. This shows due to the Hawks' defensive rating routinely getting worse when he's in the fold, and that was true this season when he unfortunately missed time due to injury. Another thing about Trae is that he hasn't completely evolved as a formidable off-ball threat, and that played a factor as to why the DeJounte Murray partnership didn't exactly work out. He wasn't this crazy off-ball threat out of Oklahoma, which is why the Stephen Curry comparison was nonsense to begin with, and while he has improved on that front, there is definitely room for improvement. Now, let's get into why the rebuilding Wizards made this deal and what impact Trae Young can have on this team. Quite honestly, this was an excellent move for the Wizards. They bought low on a player who was having his worst season in a while, only losing an expiring deal in CJ McCollum and a quality player in Corey Kispert. And while he has had a down year, Trey Young is a proven player in this league who's a 4-time All-Star who will bounce back and can help to build up a younger core of players. Trey has gone the best of guys, again, like Clint Capella and John Collins, and I don't see that being different with Alex Sarr, a player who doesn't get a ton of credit for what he's doing, and a player who hasn't had a natural point guard being able to set him up, currently in Washington. No one talks about it, but Alex Sarr is developing into a monster. He's operating closer to the basket, he's greatly improved in terms of finishing ability, he runs the floor well, he can play make out of the role, and is a good screen setter. Having Trey beside him will only unlock more of his game and better serve him by having a reliable lob passer and someone who can dish it to him in the pick and pop and pick and roll. Actually, the whole Wizards roster has a ton to gain since he's a true point guard running the floor who will create easier looks for everyone. This will help the development of guys like Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, etc. And the best part about it is that this doesn't completely ruin a tank for the Wizards this season. They will obviously go down there and try to compete, but it's not like they'll be world beaters out there in the Eastern Conference. And with the flattened odds, as we've seen year after year, especially with the Mavs getting Cooper Flag, they still do have a chance to land a great prospect if they just win a couple more games. What I also love about this deal for the Washington Wizards is that they were proactive. They didn't just sit on their hands and expect the draft lottery to save them year in and year out. Rather, they took matters into their own hands and got a player who can elevate their ceiling in the shorter term. Shorter term because Trey Young does have a player option to pick up or decline and is playing to get a new deal with the Wizards or somewhere else. If it doesn't work out, he can just walk and you're off of his expiring deal. If it does work out, then you can just re-up with him for a team-friendly extension to maintain that partnership with Alex Sarr and also to continually build up this young core, whatever it shapes up to be. Trey Young is the type of player that the Wizards would either have to really overpay for to get in free agency or would just not have the chance to get in free agency. So this is also a big reason why this trade is a no-brainer and an A+ for me from the Wizards. From the Hawks perspective, of course, this allows Jalen Johnson and of course the uprising of Nickeil Alexander in Atlanta to continue to thrive as they build on without Trey Young. And because they got off of Trey's money, I think this is a good deal for them as well, despite them not even getting a first-round pick in the deal. That being said, let me know your thoughts on Trey Young and your honest thoughts about his game. Do you think he's a positive impact player or the best player on a championship caliber team or a contending team? Or do you think there are inherent flaws in his game such as his defense, again his overall size that impacts him on that end, that prevents him from being a true number one option? What would you grade this trade for both teams? And also, what do you think Trey Young's impact will be in Atlanta? Do you think he'll get the best out of Alex Sarr? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and also be sure to check out my last video on Alex Sarr that I posted. It's a great video. It's about Alex Sarr and how he's quietly dominating the NBA. So check that out. Hope to see you on the next one, and stay tuned.